What's going on, everybody? How you doing? It's Chris here. We are 221 days away from the initiation of the World Cup. It is April 13th, 2022, and today I'm gonna be analyzing Group B. Group B is composed of England, Iran, USA, and the European playoff game, Wales, Scotland, and Ukraine. The reason that game has not been played is because the whole Ukraine war and the whole Russia war, Ukraine has not been able to play their playoff game. So Ukraine is supposed to play Scotland, or was supposed to play Scotland on the 24th of March. But with the whole situation that's going on, that game has been postponed. I believe it's postponed up until June, July. After that, the winner of that game will play against Wales. That is for the Group B. So we'll start off at the top. Leader of the group, which is England. England is a great team. A lot of young stars, really good young stars. Mason Mount. Pickford is a great goalie. Jack Grealish from Manchester City. They are obviously the contenders also to win this World Cup. They are up there. I was just hearing a report the other day, and they are included in the top 6 to win this World Cup. Do I feel like they're going to win the World Cup? No. I don't feel like they're going to win the World Cup. I feel like they are a few scales away from anybody that's up there to compete. Would they be tough contenders? Of course. Of course they're going to be tough contenders. Right now with the Nations League coming up, it's going to be a good training ground for them and for all the European teams to prepare themselves for the World Cup. So whatever they can come up with, a solid structure, solid team, that'll benefit them big time. What does not convince me about England is the competition they've had. For example, the last few games they played, San Marino, they scrubbed them. I think it was like 8-0. Andorra. Up till now, the last legit game that they've had is against Poland. They tied 1-1. They tied up against Italy in the Euros, got eliminated at penalty kicks, and Italy didn't qualify for the World Cup. So I'm not saying that's, a valid reason to say they're not contenders, but it shows that under pressure, they're not able to solidify themselves. Last World Cup, same thing. They came close. Euros, same thing, came close. The coach has been doing, I feel like it's solid, but it needs a lot more work. Second on that group, we have Iran. Iran tried to surprise us in the last World Cup. They almost had Portugal. They can be a surprise for this group as well. Yeah, possibly. Do they have a lot more competition? Of course they do. Their average age is about 29 years for the players, which I feel like it's quite up there. Maybe 3 players, I believe, that are actually playing in decent leagues. I think one of them is out in Ukraine and Dinamo. Maybe 1 or 2 that are playing out in the British Premier League. And I think there's 1 playing in a second division Spanish team. They did come out at the top of their table for qualification. They play in the Asian qualification. They came out top of their group, but their competition does not credit them to compete in this group. It doesn't convince me. I believe that out of their group, their toughest match was Japan, and they lost 2-0. Before that, they had Oman, they had Lebanon, they had UAE, United Arab Emirates. It doesn't convince me to be able to compete in this group. Third in this group is USA. Again, I will be rooting for them. Do I think they'll come out top of the group? Not really. I feel like England might actually surpass them. USA might come in second. The only reason why, I did a simulator as to what the scores would be, and due to my scores, I feel like Iran might be that tough surprise at the end against USA, since it is their last game, and that might tighten USA down. I believe there's going to be a draw between both of them, and that will drag USA into the second place. I feel like USA needs a lot more testing. Mexico, Canada, Jamaica, El Salvador, Honduras. The CONCACAF is not the most fought for competition. I don't feel like the competition that they had inside the North American continent was enough. I feel like they need a lot more competition, at least to prepare up for the World Cup. Like I said at the first video that I documented, they are composed of fairly young players. One of the older players being Christian Pulisic, which I believe he's 24, 25. One of the reasons why I feel like they will be able to surpass this group stage is because the majority of their players have solidified themselves in other great teams outside of the USA. For example, Gio Reyna in Borussia Dortmund, Christian Pulisic in Chelsea, McKinney in Juventus. Be in for a surprise if they slack off a little bit. Why? Is because their first two games aren't the strongest. Their first game would be against the qualifier of the playoff game, and that could possibly be Ukraine, Wales, or Scotland. Am I saying they're great teams? No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that, compared to Iran, I feel like they will give them a bigger fight. Then after that, they have to face off with England as their second game. So USA has to secure at least those two wins, or a win and a draw, if they want to see on to the next round. And the last team on this group will be the playoff winner of Europe between Scotland, Wales, and Ukraine. Like I said, Ukraine will not play up again until June, July, their first playoff game, and then against Wales. Scotland, out of the last few games, their toughest games have probably been Poland and Denmark. I mean, compared to a Belgium, compared to France, I don't think that's enough competition. But we'll see. We'll see which one of those teams to pass. I believe England will go top of the group. Also because of England's first game, which is against Iran. I feel like if they are able to come out with everything, they'll secure 3 points right there. Their second game against USA, tie will benefit them. And then England against Ukraine, I'm pretty sure that could end up in a tie that will qualify them direct. Or if it's a win, even more. This is Group B. England, Iran, USA, and the playoff winner between Scotland and Ukraine. It's a fought-for group. Not the toughest group, but it is a decently fair group, at least between all four. By all four, I also include England, again, because their competition has not been great, but we'll see how it works out. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's gonna be Group B. Stay tuned. I will be coming up with another video on Group C, D, and the remaining groups. Take it easy. Be safe.